Ta-da-ta-da-ta-da-ta-da-ta. Ta-da-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa. Oh, what's going on?
What up?
What up? What up?
What's up, fellas?
Yeah. Thank you for joining us tonight. How's everybody
thanks.
going? Yeah,
Thanks
we just
Come
get
on.
these kinds of streams. They just kind of get started slowly, you know, as we start getting visitors, you know, and viewers. But welcome. We are Nosotros, Randy, Dennis. We got Gilbert. We got some special guests tonight. We got Pancho Quinones over here to my right, your left, maybe below me. CQ, the drummer, Camilo Quinones in the house.
What up? What's going on, guys?
Oh man! So we figured we're gonna start talking to some people that are involved in our band, but outside of our band, right? Most of our first talks have been sort of centered on us because we had to figure out how to do the technology, right, and get it all kind of working for ourselves. So we figured we'd go ahead and start branching out to you know, you guys or some other people outside the group, working with us in other ways, from the music to also the production, you know. And I think tonight we have some people that are representing both of that. We play with Camilo quite a bit, and he's been on pretty much every record, most of our records. And with Pancho is a promoter, Albuquerque area, Latin genres, all kinds of stuff, really. But he's gotten us quite a few prominent gigs as well, and passed our name along to some places. And we want to talk to them about what's going on these days, how they're doing, how they're dealing with COVID and different situations, man. And how you guys doing?
I mean, you know, we're all in quarantine, so
right.
But I've been productive for whatever that means.
Like
I've been making a lot of music and focusing a lot on music production. So just learning a lot of different new skills and trying to get really a lot better at completing music, finishing it. So
yeah,
that's like the end part of it. You know what I mean? I've been creating music for a long time. Finishing it and putting it out, that's a different thing. Dennis can probably talk a little bit more about that. It's a whole nother.
Yeah, right, Dennis. You guys have worked actually quite a bit, you and Camilo. I mean, we played with Camilo live gigs, but you've had quite a few hours with Camilo in the studio. So I don't know how.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No. No. I think, you know, the studio environment is just a total different animal. You know, it's like I don't know. You have to turn different switches on in your brain, you know, and hear things a little bit differently. And I was watching this Tom Petty documentary many years ago, and the way the band and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, they said something that kind of like struck a chord with me with studio and my sort of philosophy now about music production, and they treat the studio as like another instrument, you know, like bringing in this extra intimate instrument, this extra sort of entity, this extra musician, and I don't know, I just thought that was really kind of profound, and it made me think about the difference between like live performance and studio. But I don't know how I got off on that little tangent there, but
Dude, that was deep, Holmes. That was deep.
No, stay there, please.
I know.
I got more, but I'll say this later.
That brings peace, bro.
Well, I mean, that definitely makes sense, right? What you're talking about the studio, because I think that's Camilo, right? You've been kind of doing a lot of stuff, remixing things, and so I mean, this is like home production stuff we do, you know, and maybe
I mean,
right?
There's definitely like, you know, a new level of what is considered home production, and like whether or not that translates into, you know, like now anything that you do, that you create, is, going to go onto the internet, and it's going to be there, and it's going to live there. At whatever point you put it there, just like this conversation, it lives there in the internet, like whether you delete it or not. So, the content that you create, you got to be like kind of responsible in your approach, and whether or not you're branding your talents correctly with the, how do you call it, the quality of what you're putting out. You know what I mean? So that's really what I've been focusing on. I mean, I believe a lot in my talent in creating music. Whether or not I can capture that talent and display it for people is, that's a different skill. Like what Dennis is talking about, that's like adding a whole new person to your band, or a whole new set of ideas that, you may or may not even know all the ideas, because the studio is vast and endless, the way you can make things sound and how lost you can get tweaking knobs and turning things up and down and trying this and trying that.
Oh, bro,
So,
I know, man. You've come over to my house, show me some stuff. I know how long. I know how long it can take.
How much longer are you gonna be here?
It's like,
You've done the same to me too.
we'll go down that rabbit hole, though. Yeah, it's just really easy though to go down that, especially with the creativity you have with some technology these days. Man, at the beginning of this, it was, 3 months ago, it was really nice to have this, right? And I think now we're reaching another phase of what's going on, and I think we're a little bit more sort of in tune with it, So I think some of the quality you're talking about, Camilo, is real achievable, and balancing that from like a homegrown type of project to something that's really like, sonically everything, it's what I expect,
Yeah. And the other thing is that the expectations are changing. As more people get involved in creating music and that music becomes popular, some of the expectations of what you might think is professional sound is completely different. You know what I mean? Like people are making songs that they created in their bedrooms, and they're going viral, and millions of people are hearing it before it's ever touched by any professional. You know what I mean? And so
it's cool. It's like it's like the next evolution. When you listen to like albums that were produced in the 70s and the 80s, there's always
the new technology
is constantly always evolving, and it's just it's like the next step, which I think is kind of beautiful, because in a lot of ways it puts the musicians kind of back in the pilot seat,
the creatives,
the control seat, because a lot of musicians do have these home studio setups, and are learning the trade, and I think it's kind of cool because it does put the power back into the musicians' hands.
Well, no one can shut the access, right? No one can tell you can't be a part of this anymore. The power's in your hands. I mean, what are you creating? One of the things that I've noticed, and part of it is that we're kind of stuck at home, right? We're stuck in our studios. We're stuck at, wherever, is that the quality has gotten better. I've heard the sound, like Camilo, in your music. I've heard it, and what time do you have to put into your art, into what you're learning, into what you're teaching yourself? To work on that, right? Even on these productions, Randy, I've been watching them, and they've gotten better each time. So
it's not just me, it's definitely these guys, like Dennis had the idea, and Gilbert doing this thing too, but I know what you're saying. Like you just got to practice it like anything, and
you have the time, right? We all have the time.
And I was thinking, like, when Camilo was talking too, you're also a DJ yourself, and we'll get into sort of like what else, we brought you on to talk about some of the promotion part, or the music production you put on shows, but you're also a DJ too, and you love music, right? You're an aficionado, right? Like how does that, like what Camilo's talking about, like with the sound and the quality of stuff, like what are you seeing from artists that are homegrown and are like, hey, that's cool?
I mean, there's so much great stuff out there right now. And you hear a lot of folks saying, "Oh, it's not." It's usually boomers like me, right? People my age. You hear people talk about the quality of music these days, and actually, music has always made me feel a certain way, and that's always been the number one thing for me. If it feels good, man, it works, right? If it sounds good, it works. If it moves me, it works. So. I'm always searching, right? I'm always in the crates, or virtually anyways these days, virtually in the crates, looking for music, looking for something that's exciting. And it's just, it's just a little bit more wide open. I mean, when I'm looking for stuff, when I'm looking for music, one of the things that I don't like, from like the streaming services is the compressed sound. That's, I like, I still like buying music that has information on it, a physical CD, right? With the quality that comes out of a studio.
Check out behind Dennis, man. Look at that, all those
exactly.
CDs, man, of physical copies of stuff,
right?
right?
Exactly. I mean, I'm sure you guys work hard at getting a certain sound, right? I want to hear that, and when I DJ, I want to present that sound that you wanted us to hear, right? So,
right.
So when I put it on my computer, I put it, usually because of the program that I use, an AIFF file, right? Is that a lossless file?
No,
but that's what I use, so that it doesn't sound like it's coming out of a can,
Well, it's even like our broadcast right now. It's the way it is. This streaming sound. I was talking to Gilbert about, Gilbert's been doing some performances and stuff, and he talks about how to get it to sound good, and it's hard because it wants to stream all weird and do this, I guess, compression that has to be there, and maybe with everything going on and all this usage of this sort of platform, this sort of, I guess, hopefully it'll facilitate some development in this R&D, right? So this stuff will get less expensive and more accessible, right? High speed internet, like all that kind of stuff coming through, right?
This technology is moving really fast right now because of what's happening, for sure. I mean, and just the 3 or 4 months that we've been, locked up, cooped up, it's gotten a lot better. I did an interview with my cousin Mark, and we were going to do a listening party, and I was disappointed. Me and Camilo, I kept calling him, to test out the system, because I bought this iRig Stream and I thought I had it down. And it turns out that when you get on IG, you can't stream the music if there are 2 people on it, right? You can't stream it through the service directly. So that was an IG problem. I bought all this stuff, to do this thing and have the production sound great, and it just didn't work. The platform, it was a platform problem,
we can't broadcast to IG from this StreamYard.
You can, but you got to pay.
You got to pay for it. And
that's the other thing, is they do the technology. They're going to figure out a way to monetize it, right? So
well, sometimes we hope by like doing things like this, bam, live with StreamYard, maybe we'll get some ducks.
Right.
A little promo for StreamYard.
Like last week I was all, our sponsors. We'd like to thank Apple Computers, Multimedia. We'd like to thank Behringer Products, Percussionist.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you guys a little secret. I used to do these posters, right, of whatever show I had coming up next, and my partnership with the NHCC would have Southwest Airlines at the bottom and all these big companies, and I would be like, are they helping us with this? I mean, because really, are they really helping us with this? And of course, they provided for other shows tickets and other things. But I don't know if actually a couple of my shows received some tickets, but I shouldn't say that. So they were very helpful. So, but it's not what you think sometimes.
Right.
Well, maybe this is a good way to segue
I'm
into like what were you talking? Yeah, you red
There
vine.
you go. There you go. Yo,
But, you know,
check it out.
Send me some
Wow,
red vines.
Wow Lemonade. They
Right.
did work with this at Domingo
Commercial break.
Penate, right?
yeah, no. What? So let's move on to the next thing.
Product placement.
I wanted to try this real quick. Camilo, we were talking about your music earlier and stuff. Talk a little bit about let's see. Oh, is there no music on here? Oh, I guess it did.
Camilo's not a sponsor, yo, Camilo.
It was
I'm
all.
gonna have to pay. I'm gonna have to pay. Right. I'm gonna
You
have
gotta
to pay.
pay. You gotta pay for that sponsor,
I'm gonna have to
man.
pay
You
for
need,
that.
you need
Sorry,
to get
bro.
that license down. No,
I'll get something queued up and then I'll we'll get.
But
back
you know, I was gonna
Move
say
on.
that about talking about just the streaming of it and everything now, and the accessibility. You know, like you spent a little bit of cash, right, Pancho, to get some things for this interview with Mark. You know, and it can be kind of expensive to do some of this stuff. You know, unfortunately, right? You know, and I wonder, why it's not easier sometimes, because I heard a few years ago that this kind of stuff was going to become big. And right now we're like in the ground floor of this stuff. We're broadcasting, actually.
Right.
We're doing some television stuff a little bit, even though it's very public access. But before, you had to go to the studio, and do that. Here we can kind of start to get this sort of platform worked out. You can do green screens behind this. Camilo was doing some funky green screen stuff earlier.
I was in the brick wall.
He was in the brick wall, and it's just kind of going. I guess talking about when you were mentioning the Southwest tickets and all that, maybe this is a good time to talk about some shows, right? Like what were you doing right before COVID-19 came and did what it did?
I mean, yeah, we created this series at the National Hispanic Cultural Center, right, Domingo Cenarte, and it was a series that was based on we wanted to focus on the art, right, the artist, and build from that. People, we wanted people to show up to come see specifically Nosotros, say, right, when we had you there. We built around Nosotros. Of course, we had, some food that was served that you could buy. We had a bar up and running. But the focus was the art. And because of what's happening, like everything else, like everyone else that presents, we can't do anything this summer. I know before I decided to cancel, I had one meeting over the phone with the NHCC, and we were trying to, they were trying to figure out if we could save it, and I could kind of see what was coming, and I wanted to get ahead of it, and it's a struggle, really, to do a summer series like that. So I decided at that time in the first meeting was that we shouldn't do it this summer for 2020. And we should look at 2021. So we decided early. And yeah, man, it's a difficult thing, but a pandemic is a difficult thing, right? We have something that we need to deal with, and it's very serious. I am also a 22-year veteran of the Albuquerque Fire Department. We're out there responding, to sick people. We're out there responding to emergencies, and one of the new emergencies is COVID-19. Receiving a call for a normal fire alarm at a hotel, might, as we arrive, we might get, information that this is, a place where maybe COVID-19 patients are recovering or something like that, which changes everything, which is a little scary, right? We're going to go in and we're going to do our job anyways. We're going to protect ourselves even more, right? We have our protective equipment that we have. But that's the focus, right? And that has to be the focus right now, because nothing will get back to normal if we don't deal with that. And it takes a little bit of discipline. And it's sad that we're not gonna be able to present shows, and it's sad that I'm not gonna be able to take some of the artists to an elementary school, and it's sad that we're not going to be able to see Nosotros on stage anytime soon. But we really need to really need to focus on this virus and defeating it. Because it is a fight. The virus is trying to survive, and it's thriving currently in this country.
Yeah, it's real unfortunate. I was talking with Dennis earlier. We feel just this sort of. We've been here since I remember March 7th was our last gig, and we did Meow Wolf. It was a really cool last gig, that was for sure. Like we played that stage and we had a really great time, and then like that week it was just done, and it's been done since then. And we felt like there was maybe a curve coming too, and we were like, yeah, I think we're gonna be able to. Kind of maybe do some stuff. We thought maybe we might have some things, maybe July, maybe August,
like
right?
It
kind of was, and if we would have kept there, and then, because other states really opened up and and they come here because we have a beautiful state, that we're people love coming to our state, and I just wish like we could just have this all worked out sooner than later. Now we got to kind of go back. I'm going to start doing some push-ups, so I'll be real buff next time you guys see me, I'm going to be like strong.
I've started running.
Yeah, man.
I want to get my lungs healthy, right?
Yeah, you're going to have to.
It's scary, man. I mean, we're in this for the long haul. There's no way. Our governor seems to be doing a pretty good job, right? But there's no way to control Arizona and Texas, and there's no way to really control travel. So Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham can do as good a job as she possibly can. And as we see, we're in a pretty good place considering, right? You look at Arizona.
Right.
Arizona alone beat the whole European Union. Arizona alone, that's 470 million to however million people are in Arizona. They alone. So we have a discipline problem, right? So we're going to be in this for a little while in this country anyways, because look at the numbers. You know what I mean? That's
and maybe, and you know what, like discipline starts with like yourself, as musicians. Musicians, we know what like self-discipline is all about. It's the only way you can get to jamming and get anything done. You have to have certain discipline to go. Sometimes we just say it's really nothing because you're doing something you love, but it's still a discipline that you're focused to, and that's why you get good at it, right? So like you're saying, getting healthy, eating right, just trying to be right, working on your mind, right? The music, pushing creative boundaries, that's going to get us through, and we'll probably
even this format here, Randy.
Yeah,
you're visiting with Dennis. I'm getting to talk to you, and it feels good. Like I'm sitting here happy to see you guys, right? And I mean, it's not the same to be in the same room and high five and and watch people dance.
Right.
This is cool. I mean, I go outside and I stare at the sun sometimes, like to get my vitamin D. It's like, it's such a bizarre time, but it's a serious time, it's a serious time. And I'm not telling anybody to do anything, except, that we should wear our masks, that's not a hoax, man. It's not politics. It's not, it's,
science.
It's science, and we should do the things that scientists are asking us to do, and it makes sense, right? That it's common sense. I mean, the covering between myself and you is going to stop something. It may not stop it all. That's not what we're talking about.
Well, you know, I played a lot of gigs, man, where I saw plenty of people walk out of that bathroom not washing their hands, man.
For sure.
Straight up. I wash
Sure.
my hands all the time before this. You know, I would
Yeah.
I would
wash my
rarely
hands.
get sick. Yeah, I rarely get sick. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
washing my
I'm a
hands right
hand
now.
washer,
Yeah. No,
I'm a hand washer.
but I would rarely get sick though, too. You know, I'd get sick like a normal kind of thing. But even that, I thought maybe I had a longer stretches of time before I would actually get a cold or the flu, right? And, you know, watching what's up. A lot of it, we all know, Gilbert and I talk, it's a lot of sharing. You know, we like to partake in things, you know, that require some sharing sometimes, you know,
Right.
and we've just been like, no, we can't go that
Not no
route.
more.
We have to just be, and it's cool. We're just adapting to it. You know, I don't know if it'll ever go back to that. Maybe that wasn't ever clean practices to go. Maybe this is, you know, like
I'm gonna
maybe
miss
that.
birthday cakes, bro. I'm being honest. Birthday cakes that's a no-go now.
Yeah,
man.
dude, get rid of the candles, bro. You can't
You
tell
just-
me to get rid of
You just
cake.
blew all over the whole cake, dog.
Dude,
But
that's
get
it.
rid of candles. Don't do candles. Just
I know,
cake, bro.
bro.
You ain't gotta get rid
Yeah,
of
save the
What
candles,
do you
all
got
that
against
wax.
cake, Camilo? What do you got against cake, bro? Come on.
Yeah, come on.
I'm eating the cake. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, that's the first thing to go. But yeah, you know, it is. It's just we've got to do this discipline, and I think we're gonna be all right. Maybe this time around, maybe this is one that's like people are really getting it now. Maybe it's real. It's definitely for real for more people now. So
Yeah.
And we just keep doing what we're doing. All of us have been healthy. We've kept up doing what we did, and we were like in some pretty serious stuff. We're in serious stuff now, but I think we managed to keep doing what we do. I think we'll be okay, you know. Yeah, I mean,
Everything will come back. You
oh
know,
yeah,
everything will come back.
2021 is already on point. If we can get there, even
Yeah.
as we're going, if we can just kind of be disciplined, 2021's right there. We'll get stuff March if we come down, you know, now. So
Yeah, keep, you know, to people, you know, Doug Beavers, a trombone player, just announced a record company today on and, you know, I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, talking about essential workers, right? They say that, you know, I'm an essential worker. Man, I see people like you guys, creatives, you know, stay creating, man. You don't know, you know, for those of us, I mean, my whole reason to present artists is because, you know, I just joined sitting there and watching the show and enjoying it, right? Like creatives, you guys are the creatives, you know, to many of us, you know, and we need that, like we need that outlet. We need those lyrics. We need wherever music takes us, right? I'm living in rhythm and blues right now, right? Because that's kind of like that's where we're at in the world, right? But it's healing, man. You know,
yeah.
You know, we need.
But it's weird. Like that survey came out, and it's like 71% of people think
fuck
like
that survey,
like I know, yeah, fuck that survey.
You know,
man.
who are they talking? Oh, can I say that on here?
No,
survey,
yeah,
what
bro,
survey?
It's cool.
We're way good.
I'll
dude.
bleep you in post.
Yeah, we'll
post it.
Yeah.
I'll bleep
Yo,
you.
What survey was
Who
that?
are they talking? Who are they
I
talking?
missed that
First
survey.
of all, no, you don't want to
what
hear
was
about
that?
the survey, Dennis.
What was that?
I don't
survey?
What
even
was
see
the
it.
survey, Randy? What was it?
I don't know. What was that survey?
It was
It was like the 10 most essential and least essential jobs.
Yeah, that's what it was. And
And
it said
musicians were the-
I think it was like in New York Times, you know, and you know, I don't know about all that.
Yeah,
man.
artists didn't even really register on that survey, you know.
Right.
You know, who are they calling? You know what I mean? Who are they polling? Who are they? You know, are they? You know, maybe they're talking to who knows? You know,
Right.
I don't want to insult anyone, but
Right.
yeah, that's, you know, we know that that's not true. We just, you know, look at how many folks are sneaking away to see each other and dance with each other, listen to music, and getting themselves sick. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, I mean, the idea that art's not important is like, I mean, like art sells everything. Creative ideas is what make commerce and business and capitalism run anyways. You know what I mean? People don't buy stuff unless they become interested in like what it is. The product has to have some type of interesting marketing campaign or
Totally.
song or a jingle or a visual or
Well, man,
packaging.
No, you
Did
have
you
to
just-
all of
cut
that.
those bucks.
All of that is, you know, creative work. And so, you know, to think that those jobs or people that do that type of work are unessential at this point, like you see that it's more essential than ever, because that's, I mean, you know, ads, all of it is all run through creative information. And, you know, although a lot of those positions are kind of, you know, taken up and like a lot of the bigger spots might be, you know, already acquired by people who have been doing it for a long time, you know, there's just more people that need, as business moves online, there's going to be more people that need jingles. There's going to be more people that need graphics and websites. And, you know, all those are skills that people that are already creative in music and have to figure out a way to present their music and present it professionally on their own on a lower budget. That's where the opportunities to win are, you know, and that's why I've been really doubling down on the idea that, you know, if you work really hard on one thing, you can put it out and it can perform for you in thousands or millions of places at once, rather than, you know, the idea of like always having to show up at gigs. This has been a focus of mine since far before coronavirus has come around or anything like that. Is something that I've been, you know, moving slowly, not transitioning out of performing, but just having another set of skills that, you know, is also a big part of incorporating me into a band or any type of working situation, or having me produce an album or a remix or anything like that. You know, those are skills that I want to also be approached for, not only like, can you show up at one place at one time and do something for 2 hours? Like, you know, we want to hire you to do this thing because we know that if you help us with it, it can perform all over the world for all kinds of different people, because, you know, that's the type of, you know, effort that you put into your music or your art or whatever you want to call it, you know.
Right.
So
yeah,
it goes beyond being just like a musician. Like we've all been kind of chatting about this whenever we do have conversations, and talking about that, like even with this whole streaming thing, where like now it's not just about being a musician and being on stage playing your instrument. Like you have to know video, you have to know, like Camilo said, with the whole jingles and all that stuff, like you have to do other elements. It is about getting outside and off of the stage. Dennis, I know Dennis does a lot of studio work. Camilo, I actually helped you. Remember the jingle you did for the salon? He came to me and we did some drum stuff, and then we did drum stuff for this jingle that he was working on and all that stuff. So like all that, you do have to be more well-rounded and take on more nowadays. It goes beyond just the instrument now. Like there's a lot to it, you know, production end of it.
I mean, you know, for people that are doing home recordings and home tracks and stuff like that, you know, it's one thing if you're like, yeah, I'll you know, do a part for you, and that's cool. But, you know, if it's the same as what you would charge to go and do it at somebody else's studio, where somebody else is going to take on all the work of tracking it, making sure the levels are good, and, you know, doing all of the work that is involved in engineering and producing, you know, the tracks that are going to end up going on to move into the song, you know, that's also has value, you know. And if you can do that if you can do that all on your own, that's a different value than, you know, just being able to show up and play really badass, which is a badass skill. You know what I mean? That's its own thing too. Like, you know, that's something that we've all tried to, you know, obviously it's been a goal of all of us that play music to get to the point where people call us and they're like, yo, we want you specifically to come and do the thing that you do because you're really good at it. You know what I mean? And when you do it, it has a specific sound or it has a specific vibe or whatever. And so, you know, this is now an extension of that, where, you know, you can send a track and your processing and your, you know, engineering style and the way you capture and the room of your house specifically all comes into play in what the person is getting on the other side of this new kind of online recording style that is now kind of like, you know, becoming a very, like, all kinds of musicians are coming into like, oh, I got the home studio set up.
Yeah.
You know, these are dudes that like have
Right.
been at professional studios their entire lives. They never ever even
Did anything at home.
had to learn how to run any type of recording equipment or anything like that.
And you know what? It's becoming like a style too, no? Like this sort of quarantine thing, if you think about it, like in a pop culture kind of vibe, it's going to become a thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how, you know, the development, some of this home, like this sort of low budgetness about it, maybe mixed with higher quality usage, right? You know, more focused message on stuff as it goes. It's going to be a style. You know?
For sure. Yeah,
and
I mean,
and it's nice though. Like we did.
Hello.
Sorry. All right. Check one. I got all excited.
Mic check.
That was cool.
No, but we did like a you know, a 10-piece recording with Nosotros, right? And all from the house pretty much, you know, and kind of with, you know, a few technical issues, but it worked, right? But it was actually kind of nice to I mean, we were on a little time schedule, but it was also kind of nice to be at home and work on some things, right? You know, so I started talking to Dennis how even when we do get back to studio stuff, this is going to revolutionize that too, right? Because you might want a drum room sound no matter what. You know, there's something about a room too that adds to acoustic drums, right?
Yeah.
You're going to want that still. So you need that space. But a lot of guitar stuff now, a lot of things like that, you know, these things can be
in the box processing.
Yeah, flowing in from over here, you know, and I mean, even to the extent that drums can be just like that too. You guys could program some drums, and they got some great drum samples out there now, man, that you probably would have a real hard time, you know.
In the majority of the music that I make, you know, I use mainly samples, and I don't record a lot of the different parts because
you ain't
trying to get those parts to sound that way with, you know, I mean, in my house I have a lot of instruments, maybe 35, 40 different drums, surfaces, you know what I mean? In my computer I have like 300 or 400, you know, gigabytes of sounds.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so I got thousands of toms and thousands of snares and thousands of you know, conga samples and this and that, and every sound you can think of, and if I don't have it, it's available online. And the thing about it is that when I load it up and I play it on the computer keys, which is that's my main MIDI keyboard that I use. I don't even use the piano key roll or you know, that's like, I mean, I will sometimes if it's, you know, but I don't play piano, so that's not necessary for me to have a full piano at my disposal to like play some crazy old piano line. That's not what I've never practiced that. I've never really worked on that. That's something that eventually I want to get good at too. But right now, without knowing that, I can still create a melody, I can still create a harmony, I can still, you know, develop full on songs and arrangements. And so, you know, having access to samples, some purist musicians do not believe in that, and I just believe that I'm going to put my touch on whatever sounds are available in it, and I would rather have millions of sounds at my disposal than limit myself to the sounds that I've been able to afford up until this point, in terms of actual instruments or what I have in at my house. I mean, yeah, you know, it's sometimes like at the end of a groove, like, yeah, let me put this drum set part, or let me add these timbales, or let me, you know, put these congas on there. And you know, that has its own live kind of token to it, and that gets chopped up and resampled in its own way too, you know. And so yeah, I don't know, it's a totally different kind of open-minded way to building drums and building music than, you know, it's a lot of it's like, you know, it's electronic music. It's not necessarily supposed to sound like a bunch of musicians played it anyways. Like that's not necessarily.
Do you have Chris Trujillo samples in your gigabyte drive?
I need some. I need Dennis to send me some.
You guys,
I'll trade you for a pack.
Dennis is gonna be like, yo, that sounds like my drum on that track.
Yeah. See, Chris is watching off of my feed right now because I started a video share, you know, and that's one thing I got some people. Yeah, people are commenting over here. I'm looking over here and I'm trying, hey, what's going on? You know, and we got people giving that, and then we got people giving that. Nice. You know, and then we got them a bunch of them. We got a bunch of that. We got Betsy Lucero. Thank you for your service, Pancho Quinones.
Oh, thank you.
That's what she said.
Thank you so
much. My mom says hi. So yeah.
Hey, mom.
Mama. Orale. Chris says orale. So
orale.
Yeah, just a little bit to what Camilo was talking about, and like percussion and samples and all that stuff. I think people might be surprised if they could get see the raw files probably of the majority of the music that they listen to. Definitely anything that's going to be played on pop stream or pop mainstream music. There's so much production that goes into that.
Yeah.
And even myself, like when I'm mixing drums, like I have so many plugins to make an acoustic drum set. You know, I'll tuck a little 808 on the kick drum, you know, just to give it that extra boom.
Yeah, some doubling and some
doubling, man. There's so many, you know, you combine different snare sounds to make one solid snare sound, you know, and a couple of those are electronic triggers. There's so much production, you know, that's involved in a lot of the music that people are hearing. It might sound, even if it doesn't sound electronic, I don't know. I just think people would be really surprised at how much production actually goes into it, which sort of plays off a little bit what I was talking about earlier about how using your studio as another instrument, you know, as another sort of thing that you can sort of pull from, you know, creatively though. You know, it's not just this robot you know, sort of a computer thing that's doing all the work for you. You know, you can definitely get very, very creative with all those tools at your disposal, you know. And I think that's where sometimes purists get a little bit lost, you know, is that they think, you know, you just push a button and all of a sudden the singer is in tune, you know. That's what auto-tune is. But no, you know, you really, the engineer and the technician behind it, they really have to have the ears and the creative minds to be able to, you know, to make these productions. It's not just this push of a button. So yeah, I think
that's a push of a button to do that, but but it's not. Like, I mean, somebody did that whole algorithm to make that happen. But yeah, no, I know what you're saying, Dennis, and there's guys, you know, some of the greatest music I think we've listened to, guys treated the studio as an instrument too. The Beatles, right? You know, all kinds of things like that. Guys have been doing that. They've had the budget to do that. But now with technology and like Camilo's saying, he's got gigabytes of stuff and things. And you, Dennis, you could get compressors of all kinds and just go to town, you know, and it's in this little small square. You can put it in your laptop now, you know, and have that access. And then you can do things like go to maybe a real, you know, if you feel like a really high dollar studio to get some mix down. Get some high quality mastering done, you know, from guys that have real mastering studios, right? You know, and but you know, I think that's going to be what it is for now, you know, and there's going to be a lot of people adapting, you know, like you said, there was a lot of people, that's all they ever did was high dollar studios. Now they're like trying to figure this out, and they'll figure it out, you know, they'll get it.
I think you're going to see a new, you know, I don't know if you guys saw Bobby Allende, Alain Perez from Havana, Cuba, and other musicians. They did a video, and Alain said, you know, he was trying to figure out how to get his music to Bobby so that they could take it in the studio, and he recorded his vocals on GarageBand on his phone.
Oh, wow.
You know, and
That's
and that video, if you look at it, man, it's swinging and it's fun. And then today I was telling you about Doug Beavers, the trombone player for Spanish Harlem, who started a record company. You know, he said, hey, whatever sound you have that you want to use, send it to me and we'll put it in the studio and clean it up for you. So, I mean, I think that people are discovering. I mean, it's a time of discovery right now because we have to, right?
Yeah.
It's, you know, I don't think this is some of the stuff that all you guys are learning. I don't think it's going anywhere. It's another tool in the toolbox.
Well, it's been around and
weapon.
It is its own art. What's interesting is that right now we're at a period where you have several different positions being played, right? So you have musicians that have all kinds of experience, years of experience, pros, toured all over, done all kinds of like badass recordings that you've heard millions of times. And now they're recording themselves. And that's a new skill that they've been adjacent to.
Well, the record companies don't really exist anymore, though, right? I mean,
well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that now, like, even removed from, like, you know, maybe big studios is not like a huge thing anymore, but for sure, engineers have not gone anywhere, and they've become far more important. You know what I mean? And so now people are having to engineer themselves.
Yeah.
And that's its own skill that people that are just learning music and have all kinds of loops available to them and all kinds of tools and all kinds of, you know, here's how you create a song and here's the arrangement and here's every single chord in the whole world right here at your disposal in MIDI information that you can pick any sound and put it there and create from that. And then you can write your song and here's a auto tuner for your voice, whether you sing good or not. There's all these tools that, like Dennis said, are being used in professional settings and have been used kind of secretly, you know what I mean? It's not like public information that all this processing is going into the music that you're necessarily think so-and-so wrote in their home or whatever, your favorite artist. But so now there's all these people that are having to, like, they're badass at what they do, but they're not badass at engineering. And so it's a new learning curve in that respect, which kind of evens the playing field for somebody that maybe has a fraction of their knowledge in terms of musical experience and, you know, ideas and all of that, but they have all these tools available and all these new systems that are, you know, created for you to kind of like cookie cutter up some really badass music that is made for the mass of people to enjoy. Yeah. It's like, it's, you know, it's designed for you to be able to like turn on 3 or 4 loops, get a drummer program going, get this or that, slap that on there, do the auto tune joint, and you have a whole song. And sometimes it takes 30 minutes and that song, you know, will appeal to all kinds of people. Good. Because it's created in, you know, on a format that's of the most appealing things. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like
no, I hear you. Yeah.
It's like cooking with Morton's salt and McCormick pepper. Like everybody's used to that flavor. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa,
they're like,
what?
yo,
what? Let me write that. Let me get that recipe down, bro. Hold on.
Boom.
I didn't know we were doing a cooking show.
I said cake earlier. Now we're talking.
I like Redmond's salt myself from Utah.
It's like
you know, there's people that like specific salts, but you go to a lot of restaurants, Pancho, where you enjoy the food and they're using those 2 brands that I just told you. Well, you know what I'm saying?
I'm glad we started talking about that real quick. I'm glad we got, if you look below, we got the scrolling CQ the drummer at beatstars.com.
Yeah.
I went and visited here. I have it on my phone right here. See?
Hey.
Well, what do we got?
Let's see. Let's take a listen. We're going to listen to Tonight.
Oh, let's trace out. I'm into
this is some Camilo.
Oh, we're going to listen to some Camilo. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get my smooth look on right here, man.
Maybe we should have Camilo set it up.
Yeah, Camilo set this up.
BeatStars.
Yeah.
So BeatStars is like, one thing is that like BeatStars is now this new it's not new. People have been doing this for a while, like probably 10 years plus, where you license a song to multiple people. It's not an exclusive song. So basically all kinds of aspiring artists that are trying to, they're like I said, learning this process of becoming an artist. Instead of them starting an instrument or picking up an instrument or starting with a band or the homies, let's figure it out together, guys, in a garage or whatever. It's like, I'm online, this beat's badass, I'm gonna pay $25 for it, and I'm gonna write a song to it. And I got GarageBand in my house, and that those people exist because that's the foundation of a lot of artists is, rapping on somebody else's music because they may, or singing or whatever, playing your instrument that you're learning over some type of karaoke track or a play along. Like, that's how you learn, playing along with music. So this gives people an opportunity. You can set your licenses at all kinds of different prices, and there's several million producers on there. So
Right.
it's still a tough game.
I'm gonna write that down.
It's like you can host all your music up there. It's like a license. It's like a licensing for rap music and R&B and kind of pop.
Right. Yeah. No, but I mean, we were talking about this a little bit the other day, and sort of the format, the licensing that's done with it, and it's actually very artist friendly, man. Like,
well, yeah,
cool. Like if you can make all this money on this like little side gigs with it. If it really takes off, then those guys can just straight up buy the licensing from you, and then you kind of made a little bit. You got a lot more mileage out of a tune or a beat, and
well, what you can do is you can give a lot of people the opportunity to create something badass out of the music that you made. Because if the music's good enough and you only sell it to one person that maybe is still getting their skills together, and then somebody else is like, yo, I want that beat, and you already sold it to so-and-so, then you can't give it to them. That's
right.
Like, there's copyright laws against that. So this is like an open license where it gives everybody the opportunity to make a song, and it gives that song the opportunity to gain some traction. And then at that point, you're able to kind of like negotiate. I mean, the negotiations are already set. Like, yo, if the song blows up, this is what I expect as the producer. You know what I mean? And you as the writer are entitled to this. And that's kind of like already set in stone when they buy the song. I mean, this website is like the website where Old Town Road came from. There's several other big songs that have come from this website. And Old Town Road had, I think, like 14 or 16 other downloads. So there's 16 other potential songs that could have blown up off of that Old Town Road beat. But it was Old Town Road that blew up. You know what I mean? So without that kind,
thank God.
You know what I mean?
It was the right one, dude. It was the right.
You know what's crazy is that the rest of those 14 songs, like, who knows what they sound like? You know what I mean? That's like pretty interesting.
This is a track called "Tonight" by Camilo.
So this song is like there's lyrics to this one that I
Are you gonna
totally
sing?
erased.
Are you gonna sing for us?
I'm not gonna erase them.
No.
I'm not gonna sing them because they're kind of, it was like a late quarantine night. I was like, hold on, some lyrics. The song has like some bed squeaking and all kinds of different sounds in it.
Nice. That's cool.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. What are you like, all progressive, man, in your beats, dude? You're like the rush. You're like the rush of beats. What's going on, man? You're like Dream Theater of beats right there. It was like there was all kinds of stuff going on there, man.
I don't think there's any like there's definitely no congas on any of the beats that are.
No, don't lie. Don't lie. All that, no, there's gotta be something in there, man. Come on, don't
However,
lie.
I think on a couple of the songs there are. I do have like a pack of like. I do have like a pack of like 70 something rolls that I've created with El Dusty and Mariano Herrera in the studio in Corpus, and we pitched it to Splice, and so hopefully it'll go up.
Cool.
And
Cool, man. All right.
yeah, there's like a handful of producers around the United States that have the pack, and I've already heard some of
What
the
are you
rolls like
using?
coming
What are you-
out.
What are you using to create your beats? Are you doing it in Ableton
I'm using Ableton
or Logic?
Yeah, I'm using Ableton. I haven't used Logic, and probably like I abandoned Logic and all of the projects that I had going on in Logic probably about 2.5 years ago, and I just started with Ableton, and Ableton is just totally. It's a way different approach. I heard that Logic now incorporated some of the benefits of Ableton back into it, some of the time stretching and pitching and transposing and some of those type of things that you can do with your samples that really give you a lot of, like you said, creating sounds is very important. So, even though I take somebody else's sound, I still manipulate it so that it becomes, a specific sound that I created. And so, Ableton allows to do that a little bit easier than Logic. The processing in Logic is it ends up like kind of bogging down the system. For me, I don't know if I don't know how to use it in a processing friendly way, but with Ableton, it's just far easier, and I can get further. Like with Logic, I got to a certain point where once I had a certain amount of plugins being added and a certain amount of processing happening, the project came to a halt because the computer no longer could handle it. And so, since then, I've also learned that you have to make decisions and marry your processing to some of the sounds and move on from there. And you just have to decide at some point.
Commit.
Yeah.
Yo, as a musician, how much can you take and change and feel okay with saying that it doesn't belong or it's not somebody else's, it's mine now? You guys are all musicians, so you actually play the instrument, right? And how much change can occur before what you just said, turning it into something this your sound, you know what I mean? If you're using somebody else's Dennis's drumming pattern or something, and you changed it up, do you feel like any kind of obligation, or if somebody took your sound, you're totally cool with it, right? So
here's
how does that work? That's
the way I see it. So I pay for a sample library called Splice, and all of the samples on there are royalty free. And so that being said, I've also been watching a whole lot of YouTube tutorials and all this other stuff, and there's all these things that producers are saying yo, at some point there's
I'm okay,
gonna be
guys. I'm okay.
What was that?
I live in a great part of Albuquerque. Yeah.
Oh, is that a firework? Are you in the Bronx, or where you at, man? What's going on, man? Shit.
I was all soundboard. That sounded like a soundboard.
I know. I thought you were adding some samples, Gil.
Yo,
whoa.
Hey, Gil has his sound packs. I have mine.
Right.
Hold on, let me shoot back. I'm kidding.
I got some gunshot samples right here. Hold on. So I've paid for all those samples. They're all royalty free. The Library of Congress is about to open up a sample library of all the available music that's been recorded that's royalty free, because of you have to re-engage the copyrights or whatever every 79 years or 74 years or something like that, or 99 years. I don't know what the time frame is, but So all of that classical music and all of that music from that period is about to be like back available, along with like a producer, like its own Library of Congress DAW, which is like a digital audio workstation, to take those samples and create music. So it's like kind of facilitating the sample based hip hop start of a new style of music with all these, like, people feel free to create with all these sounds and you can't get in trouble for it. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to take those sounds and then still manipulate them so that anybody else that digs and finds those same sounds, you know, they're going to process it in their way and they're going to create something different. And I'm going to process it in a different way. I hear samples that I've used in popular music all the time.
Yeah.
Huge songs, different one-shot drums, different like vocal loops and, you know, strum patterns. And, you know, I'll be going through a pack and I'm like, dang, that's the Dua Lipa sample, or that's the, you know, there was like a big argument about a Justin Bieber song that this guy was like, oh yeah, that's my song. Justin Bieber stole my song. And then the guy that created the Splice pack was like, as long as you guys both paid your membership for Splice and downloaded it from there, you guys are both legally free to use it completely unchopped or chop it up and manipulate it in whatever you want. That's the way Splice works, you know? And so, you know, I try to get my samples from sources that are royalty free. Or I had a sample, this just happened actually in, there's another beat on that I put on BeatStars called Trap Wave. And I was stemming out all the samples and I realized that the harmony, which I had, you know, changed the keys of it, pitched it down, added different things, like I had changed it. The harmony of it belonged to an actual song. And it was in this pack that somebody had put in this royalty free, it was a free download. They sampled all these songs, like 18 songs. But they were all songs and they were all like little sections of the songs that were badass. And I thought it was a royalty free pack of just named chords. And I was like going through my samples and I was like, oh snap, this is a song. And I found the dude on Instagram, and his name's Careful, spelled with a K, and he has this badass song called This City. And it's like a trap wave, that's like a style song from like 2018. And you know, it had like 25,000 streams, and I was like, oh snap, this guy already has a song, you know what I mean? It's already doing something. And then I looked up his IG, and his IG had like 1,500 people or something following it. And I was like, oh snap, maybe if I hit him up, like he's still direct involved in his social media, you know? So I hit him up and I was like, yo, is this your song? He was like, yeah, man, that's my song. And I was like, dude, like this song's badass, and I sampled it for a song. I want to clear it with you. And he was totally open to it, you know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, let's clear it. What's your offer? And so I made my offer, and he was cool with it. We split it up. I put the splits on BeatStars. He signed up for BeatStars. What's cool about BeatStars is anybody you collaborate with.
Up. That's cool.
Anybody that you collaborate with, they can sign up, and then BeatStars, anytime the song gets sold or whatever happens with it, BeatStars splits the revenue from there. So you don't even have to deal with it. It's totally already dealt with. So like if you put a bass line on a song and Randy puts a guitar line and I make the beat and I produce it, you know, I can put Randy down for his percentage and I can put Gil down for his percentage. And if that beat gets sold 200 times, you guys will get 200 times your percentages on right into your PayPal or whatever direct message you.
Come on, bro.
You know, so
shout out to tonight's sponsor, BeatStars.
Yeah. I actually am about to talk to them about getting that going. Because,
hey, you and I, let's go.
We should do that, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Nosotros should have a BeatStars page, and we'll just like take off all like, you know, the vocals and
sell all your songs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
Thanks,
Let's do it.
Camilo. All right, thanks, man.
Thanks.
Wow, I didn't know you were
Camilo's
like a
on all
guru.
those tracks.
That's why we had you on tonight. We knew we were gonna get something out of you, man. You know, and like, you know, definitely, because you know you've always done a lot of stuff. You stayed, yeah.
Before we know it, Drake will be like rapping or something to it, and it must say yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, no,
Yeah.
dude, we
Dude,
could
you've heard
only
Snoop
wish
Dogg, right?
in this
Snoop
time,
Dogg be getting
no.
down with.
But in this day and age, that's how the musician's gonna make it licensing, because people are still gonna be listening to music, right? Especially now, like they're gonna. I mean, that's all we've got to do, right? So people are gonna be looking for new music. Movies and stuff are gonna suck, kind of, right? Because they're running out of like productions. They're saving big productions for later on when they can do them in theaters. So television is visual stuff's gonna kind of get a little bit lame, you know. But people are going to start listening to a lot of music, a lot of sounds, because you can still have great sounds in these earbuds, basic stuff, and still get some great quality feeling, you know, off of it. And I think as you've always just sort of adapted to all these different genres. I mean, when we first met you, man, that was Club Rhythm and Blues, man, is where we met you. You're playing a salsa band, man, you know, and you're shredding. And it was like, from there to then what you did and what you continued to do until we had to take a break here. You know, I just saw you at NAMM, you know, and trying to just do the thing out there, you know, and just keep the network going. And but that's good that you were into this game before. When we talked to Manny Ramirez, you know, the sax player in Nosotros, he's been a YouTuber for a while. Yeah. And so his stream game is really strong, man, you know. So he's been doing that for a long time because it had to be strong. So he's not so much like this is weird for him. He's kind of watching how everybody's coming up from it too. But he'll directly benefit from the better technology because he'll know how to do it and implement it right away. You know.
Well, it's changing also. Like that's the thing is that they keep evolving it too. Like the way that you can get popular has evolved so many times now, and now there's so many people that are like there's like systems of getting popular and they're almost outdated too, you know what I mean? Like now that they've created a system for you to, you know, do these steps and you'll get popular, and it's like, no, that doesn't work anymore because now they have a different algorithm for it. You know what I mean? So
Twitch and I got TikTok and nobody cares, man. I'm just
I mean, like
nobody
all
follows
of it,
me on TikTok, man. It's like
there's like systems for all of it, and it's weird, you know. But the other thing is that there's, you know, like even for you, Dennis, like, you know, there's all kinds of music licensing for TVs and all kinds of stuff. Like there's all kinds of opportunity now if you've been creating professional recordings for all this time, that you are ahead of the game, like in terms of what, you know, the services and what you can provide from home. You know, that it's, you know, it does take a learning curve as musicians. It's cool that, you know, we've at some point taken on getting good at something. So the application of that to a new thing, you know, the whatever system you use to learn your instrument, you can apply it to learning how to create content or learning how to, you know, make music for licensing
now, right? I
mean, it's all part of it.
All those different hats. I mean, when you had a company before selling your music, you know, promoting you, well, now that falls on you. I mean, it's cool, right? Because you know, if there's any money to be made, it comes directly to you. You don't have the record company taking all your money and giving you a small percentage, or however that happened. I really don't know, but actually I do know that happens. But you know, I mean, it's, you know, one of the things about being an independent artist, right, are all the different hats. And I know in dealing with you guys, when I've called you to, you know, to talk about, you know, playing an event that I was doing, you know, I've been directed in certain, you know, to certain people because they dealt with a certain part of the business, right? And yeah, man, that's, you know, it's good stuff, man.
No, man, you know, and
well, you too yourself, actually, right, Pancho? You got into streaming with the DJing and stuff too. I've seen a couple of your your streams with the doing Timba and all that stuff. And then there was a big boom with a lot of Latin DJs that I would see on live on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. And just how everybody's adapted to that now. Like even everybody wants music, but the only way to really bring it to people now is through your computer now.
It's
you know what I mean?
weird.
So, like we were talking about that earlier. Again, IK Multimedia, iRig 2 sponsors tonight.
Right.
We were talking about that stuff, like having, buying. You make these investments and stuff because you need. Now what you had before wasn't just it goes beyond just like doing a quick video on your phone. Now it's like you want good quality audio, you want good quality video and stuff, so you gotta like make little investments or do what you can to learn about that. It's always a learning process with that, but everybody's had to do it now. Myself, even working with the charter school, and even in education now, teachers have to go online and they have to get Zoom classrooms. Like when we were talking backstage before we went live and all that, we were talking about that, where it's just this is the big movement of it now, and Zoom offers more of the bigger thing and stuff like that, so you can have more of a bigger audience. But now everybody's linked through social media of some kind. If you don't have Facebook, the other day we were rehearsing, doing a video shoot, and a lady was like, "Oh, I don't have Facebook." They were walking by, we gave them a card, and she was like, "I don't do Facebook," and I was like, "Well, we have a website. Like it says, so like you have a phone, you have internet, you'll find us. You don't have to have Facebook just to see us. We're all over. We're on Instagram, find us on Twitter, YouTube. We have a website. Like nowadays, that's what it is. Education, everything. You go to websites and stuff now. So this is a big thing now, like to be invested in, and it's affected everybody in that, as far as that, like DJs, visual artists. I'm part of this group on Facebook, and it's called Social Distancing Fest, and you're only allowed to go live. Like you can't post like pre-recorded videos or anything like that. So it's kind of cool because it's all over the world. So like if I'm on Facebook at 1 a.m, if I go to that group, there'll be multiple people from all over the world going live, like just some girl playing ukulele, singing covers in like this like poorly lit room with a candle at like 3 a.m. You know what I mean? And stuff, and like, or you got some dude playing piano.
What is that?
It's called Social Distancing Fest.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out.
It's cool, and it's just live. It's completely live stream. You know what I mean? So whenever, there's been a few times where I've gone live, and it's cool because I've gotten new followers for my musician page, doing my acoustic stuff, going live on that, and like. And they have have the rules, like, so Saturday they'll be like, we're not doing live streams in the day, it's devoted to artists or people doing yoga and stuff like that. So you can go and, you know what I mean, it's different things, like they highlight and showcase that. So you can go see somebody live painting something, and then see somebody playing piano, see somebody doing yoga, what is it, like a archery, you know what I mean? Like some crazy shit. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Watch me shoot an apple off my homie's head or something. You know, like, whoa, live. See, bro. I mean, like, whoa,
bored out there, man. No,
and like, so that everybody's connected now through this, right? I know. I'm like, I'm gonna juggle chainsaws, but it's cool. Like,
well, you've seen some really great stuff, man.
Hey, are you doing anything, Pancho? Like, are you gonna do any virtual stuff? Or I mean,
I talked to Pepe at the NHCC, man, and we shared a couple of ideas. He said he wanted to do some. He's been practicing some streaming stuff, and I don't know how much of some of his ideas I can share, because I haven't asked him if I can share them, but I wanted to do, I asked him about it because I was thinking about doing, some kind of series where, where we can stream a concert, or we can stream, something, a performance. And so, he said he thought he could do it, right? So, we're looking at some stuff. I know Xiomara just did, the National Institute of Flamenco, they do the Flamenco Fest every June, right? And that got canceled, but they decided to go ahead and do it, and they did it all online. And
saw that.
yes, Xiomara was out here taking, lessons with, with artists in Spain. I mean, she did cante classes. She was out here singing, and then in the afternoon she was doing a dance. I'd be over there at the window, looking out the window, just, watching my daughter dance, because it's one of my favorite things to do, is watch my daughter perform, sing.
Right. Yeah, totally, man.
So yeah, man. I mean, people are getting really creative. You see, me and Camilo used to talk about, his brother Mark, and Bobby Allende, and dinosaurs, right? And they're on social media. Bobby was doing interviews, and he was interviewing Paul Simon. He was interviewing all these amazing artists that he's played with. Ozzie Guillen in baseball,
Rosie Perez was on there.
Rosie Perez,
yeah.
How do we get them on our show?
Yeah, let's get them on. All right, we'll be like, oh, what did you say? Well, just crazy. That'd be awesome.
Marsalis, from Jazz at Lincoln Center was on there, and that was a great interview. He's such a great interviewer, man. He's so insightful. But people are stepping up. It's either that or you stay in the shadows, right? Because that's really the only way to communicate at this point.
No, for real.
So it's you're having to learn some things. And talking about the classroom, Gil, the school year this year, we're going to take an extra bedroom we have in our home, and Norma wants to decorate it like a classroom, her walls, everything. We're going to do it so that, when she has to teach online, the kids feel like they're in a classroom. And part of how I ended up here today was I was asking Randy, so how do you do this and how do you do that? Because, I'm getting ready for the fall so that, we make sure that she's got everything she needs, to be able to teach. And also because Norma teaches, talking about art, Norma teaches with the guitar in her hands, I mean, she's that type of teacher, a lot of song and music, is incorporated into her teaching. So I have to be able to, to figure out how to mic the guitar and
well, there's something that, that we use live with StreamYard live show. We're just, not throwing any pop. It's the red vines.
No. For Norman School, it's stockies, man.
Big.
Big lighters, yeah.
Pancho, touching on what you were saying about Norma's classroom, there's some super cool 360 cameras that you can use.
Yeah.
That if the whole room is like decorated, she can like move around the room, and then the kids can scroll left or right, and they can have a view of, move to the chalkboard, you guys, and slide over to the chalkboard, or go to the whiteboard, or let's go to the wall. Or
when we're done here, man, I'm gonna hit you up and see if we can, you can make some recommendations. Because
if you guys are gonna do that, that would be cool. You could just put the phone on or whatever on a swivel and turn it to the side, or but it's cool if she doesn't have to like go through adjusting the camera every day, or that takes because of like what we're talking about, the production of what you're doing. If it takes you 5 minutes to get a shot, or 15 minutes to get a shot, or an hour to get a shot, like all of that goes into the time of what you're doing. So that's like part of the learning curve, and the what people are trying to get a grasp of is like, oh, how do I get a good shot fast? What is lighting? What's this? What's camera? What how much does my camera have to have? And
I learned stuff this whole time, man. I learned things that I didn't know 3 months ago about the computer that I've had for about 10 years or whatever, like I'm not really messing with it.
Websites than Facebook on the computer. I was all, what?
Yeah, there's definitely other websites other than Facebook, and YouTube. If you stay in the music realm of YouTube, there's some pretty cool stuff on YouTube to be found. Don't try not to go down these dark paths of other things that the algorithm can set up for you, I guess.
Yeah.
But my YouTube's all about music and methods and things like that,
the thing about YouTube, like one of the things I learned, doing the BeatStars thing is that like, there's 3 million people on the BeatStars platform that are specifically like either putting music up or looking for music, right?
Right.
On YouTube, there's like billions of people. So no matter what, YouTube's always king. YouTube's king even over like a lot of things, like even Facebook and Instagram, just because of the nature of how people search for stuff on YouTube is like entertainment and to learn stuff. Like it's the main thing that people go to like learn something. So, if you can kind of like link your music to, teaching somebody something, or, Dennis, this is how I like, get the snare sound or whatever for Nosotros. Check out our music. Boom. You know what I mean?
That's how you do it. No.
That, and
I hear you. Yeah, it's a great service. I got into it because, like anything, when this pandemic hit, I lost all my income, man, and I didn't know what to do. So we started cutting bills, and I was like, well, the first thing that's going is cable television, even if you have the basic, like scrap all that, and I was like, but we got to keep internet. Like internet has become an essential service, right?
Yeah.
And so with the internet, I was able to start exploring YouTube a little bit more than I had before. And then I'm like, oh man, I'm enjoying all kinds of stuff, man. I watch a lot of music on there. I was talking to Gil. I started watching these airplane videos, like from the cockpit, like them flying like 777s, and it's like some whatever. They're French people and stuff. It's like 15 minutes long, and it shows them making a landing. And I kind of was like, I think this might be good for me if I go on another plane ride someday, because I'm actually seeing what's going on, and I might actually feel a little more comfort, like looking at this sort of point of view that I never saw before, right? So,
are you scared of flying, Randy? Or?
Oh, nah, man, not at all.
I am.
Man, it's all. It's not like man. It's because I watched La Bamba, bro, when I was like young, dude, and that like traumatized me, man. Airplanes and stuff. I think it was La Bamba, dude. Actually,
if they would have showed you the plane, though, then at least you can associate La Bamba with that style of plane, and then like. Oh, I'm not going on no two.
Is there any
videos plane? Yeah.
Is there videos on YouTube? You should look for videos on YouTube in that kind of cockpit, in like the little planes, and that.
Well, I actually flew in one of those little planes to go over to Provincetown from Boston, and dude, we were in a little plane, and we were on the same runway against like 777s, dude. They were huge, bro. And it was like crazy, and we were like next in line for the main runway, up against like these huge jumbo jets, and it was me and one dude, and like I was all like, it was me and the pilot actually, and
in a 12-seater or how many?
Yeah, seats? Yeah, like a 6-seat, 12-seater, so small. And he let me sit up front. He let me sit co-pilot seat. So I was actually like feeling pretty good, and I was like, you know what, this is actually not that bad, and I was dealing with it. And then he's like, oh, you could see the land, and all of a sudden something was like, and then I see him like doing a little hustle, and I was like, why are you hustling like that? You were all relaxed this whole flight. Now you're like all real fast doing stuff, and like, and then next thing you know, we landed, man, and I was like,
Randy's all distracting him. He's all, check it out. That's where we're gonna land. And he starts doing stuff, and Randy's all, wait, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Like, bro, I'm trying to land the plane. Yeah,
that was
we're about to miss the angle.
Yeah,
we landed upside down, but we landed, man. It was great.
But that, like a side note of how you can go with YouTube. That's my wormhole is like that stuff. I try not to look at other stuff. I look at the news. I get my points of view. I know my points of view on stuff, but I kind of want to use music too to really start to focus my views right now of what's going on. We didn't know what was happening. Our income could be affected here. I don't know what's up, but we need to really keep focusing and making the music happen. And then that's what's going to get us through it, like it has on any occasion, And what a perfect
how you
time.
Deliver it.
How you deliver it, and what a perfect time now we can sit at home. We have to be at home. Like, we've got the computers. I think this second round, we'll probably do some more stuff. I know we already have some things in the works with Nosotros and the other band I'm with. Yeah,
Second wave.
the second wave.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fortunate.
it's kind
Second
of like
wave.
the new British second wave of, or the new coronavirus second wave of music. That's what this is.
Like the English
Are
invasion.
you guys working on new music?
Yeah, well, we've traded some ideas, and we kind of focused on some songs that we were familiar with our band ourselves, just to see how it went, and it seemed to be pretty good. We're just trying to, like, Dennis, like, he'll tell you, like anybody, sometimes you get busy. Also, as far as like things not going on, and things are busy for people.
Like talking about all this like home production stuff that's happening, like it's really, in some ways, benefited like my studio setup a little bit. I mean, probably this week I've mixed 3 songs alone for musicians that have recorded, within their own homes or their own setups, whatever, and they sent me their stems to mix, and so, yeah, I mean, thankfully in this era, I'm still staying busy with music, not performing, but doing this other stuff. And thanks to the technology that's out there and people that do have these setups, I think it is 3 songs this week that I've worked on, where people have sent me their stems, and I've worked on doing mixes for them, which is great, But yeah, Pancho, getting to your question, whether if Nosotros is working on stuff, we're sort of a band that always has these like works in progress, and so I know Randy sent some ideas out. Shane sent some stuff out, or the guitar player. I have a couple things in the stratosphere out there floating around.
I mean, I think your guys' approach is smart in terms of like, the easiest way to kind of get everybody up to speed in terms of like doing their home process to add to the creative process is to start off with like songs that you are already familiar with, like everybody's already familiar with what they're supposed to be doing and how it's supposed to kind of sound within the songs, rather than like also trying to like be creative, but like then they send you a muddy vocal and it's like, no, that's a vibe, bruh. And it's like,
right.
It's a muddy vocal. You know what I mean? Like, and you're like, no, like, so you can eliminate all of that kind of creativity getting wasted into unusable, material.
Right.
And then get to the point where it's like everybody knows how to like capture, and then, Dennis is still kind of like way ahead in terms of having studied processing and all that stuff. So leaving that part of it still to him, it's like, it's the most kind of efficient work way. That's like something that you guys have, already ahead of a lot of people that are in band situations and stuff like that. So
if you have something done during this time,
when we did this,
are you going to release it, or are you going to hold until a lot of this stuff is over? I'm asking because there's a couple of salsa artists that pulled back, and I thought to myself, it's kind of a mistake. I think you should release it. But what are you thinking? What do you think?
I think right now more than ever, it would be important to release it. I'm totally with you there, Pancho. Like in the past, I've always sort of thought like a little bit old school way of thinking. Like I want to release an album, you know what I mean? I want to release this collective work, and then maybe we'll put out a single, before to kind of promo the bigger project, the album, But things are changing, and I don't think that way anymore. Even before this sort of COVID era, I think it is when you have something done, you should put it out there, because that's when you're feeling inspired, and you can talk about it with a fresh voice.
Sure.
And then even now in this time right now, like if you have if artists have a fresh idea, if Nosotros gets a new tune out right now, we would definitely put it out, because I mean, I think it's very, very important for us and artists to stay relevant, especially during this time. And that's how you do it, by putting your material, putting your voice out there still. You know, you might not be able to be like on a physical stage together in front of a live audience, but thankfully we're in this era where we still have these platforms, you know, that we can still put the music out to the masses, you know, in this really unfathomable way that you know, that we should really take advantage of.
I hear you, man. You got, you know. I mean, so yeah, I guess, you know, Pancho, so you are laying low as far as any shows. You're working with the Hispanic Cultural Center, maybe some stuff. I saw some things coming out of them. I guess that's what we would be expecting. That's what we should expect as people out there for the foreseeable future, at least, is people trying to do these shows. And I think, you know, we need to make sure, you know, the people that are watching us out there, you know, and watch this later, that you support us by maybe looking at the thing below here, Bandcamp, Nosotros Music. You know, we've been sharing some stuff from Camilo over here at BeatStars. Here's his link over at BeatStars, you know. And then you can also, when, you know, Pancho gets back and going, you know, anything with this, his name on it, you want to check out. So I highly recommend all that. And, you know, same for everybody, whatever we got going on, you know, these guys have been with us for a long time, for sure. They, like we were saying earlier, we worked with Camilo for years and years. And I think, Pancho, you the same. We pretty much have got, you know, you can't give us every gig, you know what I'm saying? But you managed to help keep alive a Latin scene, you know, in Albuquerque. And I'm pretty sure we'll be okay once all this gets going, you know, or gets done with. But, you know, you're directly responsible for why there's a Latin dance scene in Albuquerque, man.
That's a lot.
Well, I mean, you're not the only one, but you definitely facilitated it. You're not
pushed.
You didn't create it, or you didn't do anything that nobody's heard, because
you're not like a sideline player. What's going on? You know what I mean?
You were like a linebacker, right, or somewhat. He's like, what? He's Iron Man too. He's on both sides.
I was actually a strong safety, but
he's strong safety. Okay, so you know he's the strong safety of salsa music, right? The salsa thing. But you definitely help push that through, right?
At this point, you're more of an offensive coordinator for the salsa.
What do you know about offensive coordinating, Camilo?
I mean, I know what those two words mean.
You know, here's what I'll say, man. You know, it comes from a place, man. You know, as much as anything, I'm a fan, right? First, you know, and I come from a family of musicians, right? So, you know, I've watched musicians for many years, you know, toil and struggle and work and grind, and you know, watch it be a struggle for folks to, you know, to continue, right? And I've seen them have great success, right? I've seen great success, and I've seen, you know, my Tío Tony, my Tío Ralphie, you know, have, you know, local success. And it doesn't say anything about the skill, because, you know, probably the guy that people know the most was taught by, you know, my Uncle Tony and my Uncle Ralphie. Camilo was taught by my Uncle Tony and my Uncle Ralphie, right? So, you know, it's not always about talent, you know, sometimes. So
it's not.
You know, you wonder why certain people make it and certain people don't. My thing is that whenever I do, you know, present a show, you know, I want to treat the artist with some respect, right? Because you know, the show is about the art that's being presented, right? And there's an audience that's coming specifically to see that. If that happens to be you, nosotros, then, you know, we're going to try and do our best to make you feel like, you know, a little special, right? You know, so, you know, that's where I come from. Now, you know, I'm a fan of the music. I'm a fan of you know, the art. I'm a fan of art. I'm a fan of Latin music. I'm I'm a fan of all kinds of music, man, and all kinds of art. You know, I'm really, my mind is open, you know, completely. And so, you know, one day we'll get back to doing this again. You know, for me, the most important thing is that we defeat this, you know, this virus, because it's, you know, nothing else can happen, you know, if people are getting sick and dying, you know. What's the point of gonna, you know,
Exactly.
sitting down and enjoying a show if afterwards you're gonna have to go and fight for your life?
Yeah, it's not worth it right now to do some stuff. And us, we got some things to talk about too, about some things that might be coming up, and we have to reevaluate our situation, because we thought things were getting better, you know, and we have to talk about a couple of things that we have that are planned, and it's just being smart and just, you know, responsible about this. Do we
That's
really,
it.
you know, I mean, we have to do it now.
We're citizens, you know, we have a responsibility.
Yeah, and I kind of want to support the people that are supporting everybody else too. You know,
Right.
like I get turned off when I see people kind of against these things. You know, I kind of don't want to, you know, really associate with that. Really, I just kind of want us to be in this bubble. I know I'm as guilty as anybody as being an offensive coordinator too on certain places, but you know, the point of it is that we're all humanitarians, man, and we all love each other. I don't want to see people waste away, man. I don't care what side, where your sides are at, you know,
Right.
political spectrum, man. I mean, you might say some things, you know, but it's not that you don't want that for anybody. I mean,
we have kids, we have, you know, we have old neighbors, we have grandpas, we have, you know what I mean, and we have people that work in the hospitals, right?
Yeah.
We have hospitals that, you know, that family members need to go to. They need to be available to deal with, you know, with emphysema or, you know, or cancer, or, you know, we can't overwhelm the system, man. And that's what we're going to do, you know, and it's going to be all about that. And, you know, Texas is about to get hit. I'm telling you.
Oh, I know. No. It's a wave coming over towards us.
It's a wave, and you know, and they're gonna have to deal with it, you know, and so, you know, we need to really, you know, think about that. You know, it doesn't take much to, you know, to cover up. I'm decorating my mask now. I'm stealing my wife's nice mask. You know, I mean, we're you know, it is what it is, man. You know, but we feel like we're being, you know, responsible. You know, it makes a difference. It does, and we're gonna do our part. You know,
and I'll support places like that, and I'll support people with this positive thing. You know, like I mean, we've all kind of had to figure out how we were getting by. You know, I help my bros help a couple things, make sure we had some right paths that we could get, and definitely put peace of mind to all of us. You know, for a little bit. And you know, I think we're okay, and we're in okay position right now, and we can do this stuff. You guys still have your health. We can talk with you guys, but it's scary, you know. But at least we have some music, and I think if you're not like us, if you don't have music, you should really try to I don't know. It's easier said than done, but find something to look at, to do. You know, there's a lot of things you can do.
Like music to listen to.
There's
people making music and finding music is fun. I mean, that's
and people are willing to give their stuff out for basically free right now. But hopefully, you will give in return somehow. You know, you can check out a couple tunes, and hey, if you like that and you've listened to it more than 3 times, you know, maybe a couple of bucks would be cool directly to the artist is awesome. You know,
here's an interesting tidbit of information. Is one download for $1.29. What the artist gets paid off of that is a quarter or something, maybe, right, Dennis?
Yeah, about that.
And so the equivalent of one download of you supporting an artist by paying $1 or $1.29 for their song that they get 25 cents off of, that support is the equivalent of 10,000 streams on a streaming service. So, you know, just that's like, you know, one fact that I want to like continue to promote the idea to people that, you know, it's only $1. And if you like the song and you're going to stream it 20 more times or 100 more times or whatever, and you think that that's really like hooking your local artist up, you know, if you just buy that song or if you find a link that's directly from them rather than, buying it on your iTunes and buy that $1.29 from them.
But
from
Bandcamp's really good for artists.
Yeah.
Bandcamp,
Bandcamp
tomorrow they're waiving their fees. They're giving it back. They don't take much to facilitate a site that makes it really simple for you to, because a lot of times on
support
websites,
artists to the fullest.
Yeah, if you're on a website and you own
and you
your
can buy
own
WAV
website,
files there, right?
you can do all that stuff. But sometimes for an artist to have to host their own store on a website costs more money to put a store. So Bandcamp, you can put a link on there, and then Bandcamp's your store, and they kind of do. It's similar to, in a way, the way the BeatStars kind of found a niche to work with. That kind of directly supports the artist. And if you do, it seems like it works. People are going towards those formats to find artists. I mean, that's a great place to find artists in general, not just from us, but just going to Bandcamp too,
Or like for Nosotros, if you go directly to our website, a lot of times if you go directly to the artist's website and you buy directly from nosotrosmusic.com, we'll get 100% of that download. Or a lot of times,
that's where you want to go.
directly to the artist's website, and
you want to go.
I mean, iTunes and all those other download sites, like Camilo said, you end up getting about 25% or so, but if you go directly to the artist's website, especially in speaking from personal experience, Nosotros' website, we'll get 100% of that download. And it's a WAV file.
I saw Raphael Sadiq. He's been like kind of pushing this movement about that people should kind of like abandon supporting streaming services until they start making direct negotiations with the artists. So
I like that.
Basically, that way, the artists again can like set their own values on the music in terms of what it's worth having it on the platform, rather than right now it's kind of it's government mandated whatever the percentages that artists get through a streaming service. So that's like one thing that artists woke up, and that was decided what that rate was. It wasn't something that they had any part in negotiating or anything like that. Yeah, so that's like, and I don't know what supports that or what. I mean, other than like at this point, kind of just like bringing awareness to like, stream less, buy more, like merch. Those are things that like you can directly do to really support artists, especially right now. And moving forward, like the idea of we can kind of strong arm. I mean, look at Joe Rogan. He was able to negotiate $100 million for his podcast to move exclusively to a streaming service.
Right.
No artist, I mean, to make $100 million dollars as an artist, I think you have to have upwards of 3 or 4 billion streams. You know what I mean? Which I'm not saying that Joe Rogan's not going to get that, because he is.
That's like half the world population.
Yeah, but billions. You're talking billions of streams, dude. Like,
you know what I mean?
You get 1,500 streams. You're like, yeah, wow, check this out. I got a little bit of it. Now it's like, man, it's a twig. It's nothing.
I was happy I got like 15. I was like, yeah.
Somebody heard it.
Like, hey, man, tonight here I'm looking up. It says 18 hearts and likes, man. So,
see,
Camilo, I need you to step up the game a little bit. We need some more likes and happiness and wows. Now that
stars.
A lot of people are actually watching from everywhere because you guys shared some stuff, and I've seen some people commenting. I just had my Facebook up here, and they were saying, here we go. Your music, your creations, you should get 100% of the profits. Ooh, we like that. We like that comment. Nice. Let's start a revolution.
People that are listening, you can't push your legislators, to really make some of those changes, just because, like Camilo was saying, it is like government mandated. Like Spotify and these entities are able to do this, and make huge profits off of the artist's backs.
I mean, it was kind of like
one way to chip away at that is to get money out of politics, because that's how they're lobbying, right? They're hiring lobbyists, at millions of dollars to go in and change these politicians' minds, and they're changing these politicians' minds by donating to their campaigns and taking them out for a chicken sandwich, because some of them sell out really cheap and really easy.
Yeah, man.
Anyways,
I need a chicken sandwich, man.
It depends on where the chicken sandwich is from.
Yeah, man. I mean, it can't. I mean, but I need the equivalent. I need the equivalent of
Not Chick-fil-A.
at a right place, though.
I'll do Popeyes.
But I wish I could get the equivalent just at a place I can.
Hey, Frank's
understand.
famous. Frank's
All right.
famous.
Yeah,
hey,
Frank's
another sponsor.
Frank's famous. Yeah, man. I'm
They
with.
have a good sandwich.
Look,
That's the place to go.
Let's get money out of politics, and that will heal a lot of our ails.
Yeah. No, I agree. So, well, we've been on here for a little bit, guys. I think we've had a pretty fun conversation. We had a couple of people chat and comment on a few things. And
yeah, man.
Hey, Camilo, let us know if you saw any uptick a little bit in your sort of streams and stuff from this. We'd like to know, not to see if we'll be like, yeah, look, what we got you, bro. That's our insider. So, but
I want 2 cents on the
yeah. No,
for every plug I get you.
I learned that from you, bro. I learned that from you. No, but we'd like to see if this is really kind of even making an impact. Really, like how much is it really doing it? Are we enlightening people?
Hey, I'm happy for the night, bro. That's the impact it made. So
yeah, and you said something earlier. You said something earlier in the conversation. We were like, man, I'm having a great time hanging. It's the same thing we had with Chris Trujillo a few weeks ago. He was like, and I saw that. He was like, I saw you guys doing this stuff, and I was like, whoa, cool. And same thing for you. You kind of saw what we were doing, and you guys were like, hey, this might be kind of fun, and we do appreciate your insight, and what you're doing. And I think for some people, we might feel we're on the right path for it, and we can relate to both things, and hopefully, I mean, it's going to be hard for the live music production. We're going to have an easier time in sort of the virtual world right now of music production. But when it comes to live performances, other than maybe some drive-in kind of things, but if everything has to control, we have to control the pandemic in order to even get there. And then we can get there, and then we can talk about gigging. It'll be there. It was almost there for us too, but we'll get there again sometimes. So I don't know if you guys want to do a couple of wrap ups here. That was my thing, and I'm gonna pass the mic to Pancho. Say something, brother.
No, man, thanks. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having this platform. If we're here, that means that we're doing the responsible thing, right? So let's try and keep that in mind. Let's try and think of each other. Let's try and care for each other. By doing the right things. That's all I got. I got no presentations, no concerts in mind.
All right.
I got nothing.
Well, I'm gonna pass this over to you. I'm gonna pass the mic to Gil, because Gil's been sitting there. He's been.
I'm chilling.
Wake up, bro.
Hey, wake up, Gil, man.
I sold out for a chicken sandwich. So I was like, I got a full belly.
No, but Gil's I think he was definitely listening. We worked with you guys. I mean, we had a lot of things to talk about. But here's Gil for you to say some final thoughts. Do it.
We thank y'all for tuning in tonight and joining us every time Nosotros decides to do this. It's a lot of fun for us to get together. Until we can bring you live music as a band, we can at least get together and chat and talk a few issues and bring up good memories and stuff. We thank the Quinones family for joining us. Last time we were on here and we talked kind of about my origins of stepping in with the band. And I mentioned Camilo last week about that, because I remember when I met Camilo when he was in middle school and I was a freshman in high school, and we jammed together at UNM with our buddy Tone, Kit Castillo, and all that. So it's really good. So we threw this idea out, and it was like, yeah, we need to get the Quinones family, because they've been a big part in helping keeping Nosotros going and supporting us and showing us love always and stuff. So big, huge thanks and shout out to them for joining us tonight. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, and everyone stay safe out there. Please wear your masks. Let's get through this so we can get back to live music, but let's not rush things, remember? And yeah, and we just want to thank y'all. Peace and love, and we will see y'all next time. And
Ooh.
I'm gonna pass the mic to
Camilo.
Thank you guys for having me and my primo on here. This was real fun. I mean, we probably would have had this long conversation in person.
Oh, you guys are related?
I
didn't even know you guys were related.
My last name's the drummer because we have different dads. But no, what I was saying is that I appreciate you guys having us on here and having this discussion. We probably would have had it at one of the events at some point live because that's what we always do. We always fall into some type of conversation that includes a lot of really poignant things going on. And so, yeah, I appreciate Nosotros. Since 20 plus years ago when you guys moved up here and asked me to be part of your band, and at that point, like I was just like some young teenager kid who already was playing in too many bands and didn't know what he was doing. And so I was just like, dude, I'm still in school. I don't know if I can. And so, I appreciate being part of all the recordings. I've learned a lot from you, Dennis, over the years. I've taken a lot of my mixes that I've been coming up as a producer and showed them to you. And we've had extensive discussions, and I've probably overstayed at each one of your houses far more hours than you were even planning.
Dude, you stayed at a place of mine, not even in this town, bro. We've been out of town.
Wait.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
No, I've seen you in other parts of the world, bro. So like it's crazy. But right on, man. But yeah,
I appreciate you guys. Oh, one last thing I wanted to say. There's a link here. Dusty's premiering a new song right now in like 5 minutes.
Off this link right here, this YouTube link right here. Okay, cool, man. So, gotta post it. We got
shout out to El Dusty,
Dusty, man.
Corpus Christi, miss you guys.
And then let's go and turn this last word over to Dennis. Javier Hasso.
Yeah, no, thanks everybody for tuning in, and especially thank you, Camilo and Pancho. And I don't know I can't remember if it was set up in the beginning, but I know people that are up here in central and northern New Mexico. You definitely know the Quinones family, Pancho and Camilo. But for our roots down in Las Cruces and other parts that we've traveled, the Quinones family is just they're very important family in our scene up here, and to just be associated with Camilo and Pancho and Tony and the Quinones branches is really a huge honor because through Pancho and Camilo we're really like 1 degree of separation from Ruben Blades, Camilo's brother, and Pancho's cousin, is Mark, and he's played on all these recordings, and it's a really it's a huge honor, to really like be associated with this family so closely, and to really call these guys are friends. They're 100% genuine, and Tony, who I see as like sort of the godfather, is just the most humblest, coolest cat that you can meet, and it's such an honor to be associated with you guys. And Camilo, I say it all the time, whenever we're recording, I think of you kind of like as like the 5th Beatle for Nosotros. You've been on like for the past 10 years, you've been on our recordings, and you're a part of our sound, really. Like when you listen to any Nosotros recording, the percussion is such a heavy part of our sound, and that's Camilo.
Yeah, when you gonna join the band, man? For real, bro.
I'm part of the band.
Oh, you are. Oh, that's what we're talking about right now.
Nosotros includes all of us.
I just learned all kinds of stuff. You are part of the band, and you're related to Pancho, man.
I'm like the primo from the other part.
Primo.
The primo from the other Mimo, or what?
But yeah, no, it's such a huge honor, and Camilo, we like your contributions to our sound does not go unnoticed, and everybody should listen to that and know that that's Camilo back there, and Pancho, it's a cornerstone of our community up here. He makes the scene happen. He's one of the people that really makes the scene happen up here for us, and helps keep musicians employed, helps keep shows alive and going, keeps people coming out to these shows, and yeah, it's just, these are more than just faces on the screen. There's some real important figures in our scene, in our community, an important part of why Nosotros has been able to continue and do what we do. So thank you, bros.
Nice. Look at all these
Thank
beautiful
you, guys.
faces, man.
Hey,
I like that. Nice,
Those were
nice
beautiful
final
words, guys. Thank you. Thank you
beautiful
so
words.
much.
All
It's
right.
good to visit.
So we're gonna end the broadcast. Hang out, guys, for a little bit backstage with us. Gilbert, play some tunes for us out. Don't hang up.
Tune it to El Dusty. He's about to go on in 1 minute, right, Camilo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go to El Dusty. Go to this link right here.
the YouTube.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys soon.
Pass.